Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday. It is the DigiNinja Dealer School, the Dealer Academy. We're going to get you learnt on some things that will help you move some massive metal, sell a lot of cars, make a lot of money. It's always about money. It's Merry Christmas. It's the Christmas edition. Today is Christmas Eve. Also, today is our HR manager's birthday. So happy birthday to Dory. Christmas, baby. Born on Christmas Eve. Shout out to Dory. Everybody go over to Dory. Give her some love. She did a great job this year. Hey, I want to talk about some big numbers. Smith, have you found anything yet about those big numbers they were talking about? Yeah, right there. Boom.
Okay. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, my buddy Jonesy Jones shared this, and I've seen so many people talking about, I guess you call it the stimulus package that the Dems and the Repubs got together and came up with $900 billion, right?
I keep getting these two confused. Is that the 9 billion or is this the 2.7 trillion?
2.7 trillion. That's I think the amount that's been the entire year this year.
Okay,
including the first one, I think.
Is this the one they keep calling the omnibus? It's the one I keep hearing, the big one.
Omnibus. Pull it up. Let's take a look at the omnibus. I have
let's see.
Very interesting. I'm going to enlighten a few people. I'm going to enlighten you, Smith, and the people that are watching. There may be, I'm sure there's a chance for me to be enlightened as well. Omnibus. What does that say?
In there?
Omnibus spending bill. I don't know about this.
Okay, 900 billion.
900 billion.
Okay.
Yeah. So read that first line right there.
Democrats secure substantial investments in critical priorities. Legislation provides $900 billion in urgent coronavirus relief.
Okay. Now, hop back over and let's take a look at the post that Jonesy had up there. And I didn't, by the way, this bill is over 5,000 pages.
Yes.
The average Bible is about 1,200 pages.
And they had some, like 24 hours to quote unquote read it.
Yeah. So nobody read this, including me. But, and I'm not sure. Matter of fact, Facebook, you just X'd out of it, said that that this is missing information. But let's take a look. Let's take a look. All right. Now you're most people aren't gonna go where I'm going or expect me to go where I'm going with this. But is that on the screen for the people to see as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so domestic funding. Read that to me. What it says. This is allegedly in the bill.
The Kennedy Center received $26.4 million. The Smithsonian received $1 billion. The National Art Gallery, $154 million. The National Art and Humanities, $160 million. And the W. Wilson Center, $14 million.
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yes, sir. For a lot of, essentially arts and entertainment, right?
Yep. Okay, so let's read what the foreign countries got.
Egypt got $1.3 billion. Sudan got $700 million. Ukraine received $453 million. Israel received $500 million. Nepal received $130 million. Burma, $135 million. Cambodia, $85.5 million. Pakistan, $25 million. And Asia RIA received $1.4 billion.
Okay, so that's a lot of money, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Oh, so 1.4 billion, right? For Asia.
Asia, yes.
So that's the easiest way to do this. That's 1,400 million. Okay.
Right.
All right. So 1,400. Let me see the big school. What's the let's just start at the bottom and do the foreign countries. It's 14. All right, then 25 million. So that's a plus 25. I'm going up plus 85.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 135.
Then 130.
Plus 130.
Plus 500.
Plus 500.
Plus 453.
453.
Plus 700.
700.
Plus 1,300.
1,300. 300 million.
Yes.
Right? That's 4.7 billion. Okay. A lot of money, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now,
I'm sure you've seen some of the specific programs.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're still not
gender
gonna,
programs.
you're still,
Beautiful.
You're still not going to, you still don't, you have no idea where I'm going with this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
4.7 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Out of 900 billion. So how many billion is not even on there?
Oh, man. Let's see.
The answer will be
800,
800,
895, right?
895
0.5,
billion.
something like that.
895 billion. Okay.
Mhm.
So those are actually tiny numbers right there.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Drop in the bucket.
That is a half of 1%. Okay.
Right.
What's 1% of 800 billion?
1% of 800 billion. That be
8 billion.
8 billion. Yeah. That
So
should have been easy.
1/2 of 1%.
Mm-hmm.
That leaves quite a bit of money, and I don't know where that money goes. Allegedly, it's in the PPP, and for the small businesses. So I don't think that it's a great that we're spending all this money right here. But to say, like I've heard a lot of people say, most of the money's going to foreign countries. No, it's not. That is a tiny, tiny percentage. Basically, 900 million. I hate to round up when we're talking about $100 million.
Yeah.
But basically, it's $1 trillion. We basically have a $1 trillion bill.
Yes.
Okay. Now, 1,000 is what?
1 million?
That's correct.
Mhm.
1,000 million is what?
1 billion.
Yes. And 1,000 billion is what?
A trillion.
That's a lot of money, Smith.
No doubt.
It's unfathomable. Okay. So it's so unfathomable that most people think that when we just added up, well, let's call it 5 billion. It wasn't even 5 billion on that whole thing there.
Mhm.
Counted up 5 billion. That's 895 billion that's not on that list.
Right.
Okay. So allegedly, I think Google and see how much it went to the small to the PPP. How much of the bill is PPP? I'm going to explain something to you about the PPP. Numbers. There you go. Click on the top. It should have it in there.
Find PPP on here.
So,
I mean, it's all over the page, but I don't see any numbers beside them.
Yeah.
I could go check some more.
That's fine. So here's my point. Most people have no idea what
I know you're talking about big numbers, and since it's your last show of the year, I want to make sure that you had a bottle of water.
Thank you. I need that.
I mean, what kind of price can you put on a bottle of water when you really want one?
It's
I mean, a big number.
It is a big number.
Big number.
You know what? And
Continue with your big numbers.
you know that all this money's fake anyway.
Well, I mean, if it was real, I would love to have it.
It's fake.
It is fake.
Moving paper and not really in existence.
Yeah, it doesn't. But this is real. This is worth more than all the PPP put together.
That's what it is. Have a great show.
So here's the deal. To recap, 1,000 is $1 million. $1 million weighs about 24 pounds, by the way.
Jeez.
Okay. So that means $1 billion weighs how much?
What did $1 million weigh? You said 24 pounds?
24 pounds.
So $1 billion is that times 24,000 pounds?
24,000 pounds.
Hard cash.
A billion weighs 24,000 pounds. $1 billion weighs 12 tons. And people throw around the word trillion now. I mean, used to they threw around the word billion, which is just insane. 24,000 pounds of money in $100 bills, by the way. So what does $1 trillion weigh?
24 million pounds. Is that right?
24 million. 24 million pounds.
Yeah. That's insane.
It is insane.
Never thought about that.
Most people haven't. Most people say, "Oh, they spend all the money. We're spending all this money in foreign countries. We're spending all the money's going to foreign countries, and the United States is only getting $600." That is so wrong, guys. $600 for most people who make under $150,000 a year, something like that. So, but let's just say that let's say that 75% of the country gets the $600. Are you going to get the $600, Smith?
Should I received the last one.
Okay. 325 million people in the United States. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Say times 75%. 243 million Americans will get it. Okay. Times $600. See if my phone will let me do that. What does that mean when it does that? That E.
Oh, that's a good question.
That's fine. I can do it. I can do it different because we know how to do
to the power or something, maybe
245 million. We just know that there's a million at the end of this times 600. So 147,000 million.
You have utterly confused me.
So so it's 147 billion.
Okay.
Right?
I figured I'd just grab the handy dandy computer calculator.
Okay, do that. 324 million.
And multiply
600.
that by 600. That is, that's 1,000 million, $194.4 billion.
That's correct.
Okay.
So there's 194 billion going to Americans right there.
About a fifth of the total bill, right at.
Okay. So that's more that's more. We only had 5 billion going to the foreign countries a while ago, right?
Yes, sir.
So just in the 600. So that's so inaccurate what people are sharing. So can you put that number back up there, or can you put it up there for the first time?
Sure. Let me see if I can.
Just copy and paste it and put it. Can you put it on the screen right there?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh yeah. There we go.
So that's how much money's going to American individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, can you also put another number up there? Can you add to that, or you have to take that down?
I have to take it down.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So just type that number in again. Put it up there again. All right.
Could just edit it.
Yeah. Versus, and put 4 and 9 zeros.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. So to all you people, and listen, I'm not happy that we're spending $4 billion in foreign countries
while we're in a pandemic.
Yeah, I'm not happy that we're doing that. Okay, but just in the $600, there's $194 billion going to Americans, and $4 billion going to foreign countries and museums and all the stupid stuff that it's going to. It's all stupid. Yes, I agree.
And we're borrowing all of it against ourselves.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's true. We're all this is creating debt. It's not creating, but it's still, it's not what you guys are saying it is when you say that we're spending most of the money is going to foreign countries. 194 billion is going. That's just the $600 equals $194 billion. That's that's 190 billion more than we're sending to the foreigners that you're all worried about. Did you see? Did you think I was going there?
No, I hadn't thought about it this way.
Nobody has.
Yeah, not many people actually sit down and do the math.
Nobody's thought about it. Now, even after so there's 200 billion right there.
Yes.
Okay. 200 billion are going to the foreigners and to the American citizens, $600 a piece, to stimulate our economy, to save, to help, to give you some money while you're not working. Mm-hmm. Now, all this is total BS, but it's the numbers that it's important to really understand the numbers. That's $200 billion. How much is left in the bill?
$700 billion.
700 billion, basically unaccounted for. I'm going to say about 400 billion. That's a guess. You can research it in the background or at some other time. I'm going to say, and somebody please correct me. This is my show, so I have the platform, I have the microphone, but I also take comments. You can correct me or try to correct me or give me the counter argument, but women lie, men lie, but numbers don't lie. 200 billion are going to 200 billion is going to foreign countries and the American people individually. I'm going to guess that about another 400 billion is going to small businesses, PPP companies. By the way, not like us, because do you know what it takes? Go ahead.
This is the one thing I did find. It says an expanded range of eligible businesses are able to apply for a second PPP loan, this time up to a maximum of $2 million, down from the previous limit of
10 million.
Wait.
No.
They must be missing a zero.
No? 2 million. You can only get 2 million this time.
Oh, down for yes.
You can only get 2 million. You can put that up there. Put it on the screen. Let me show people what we're talking about. And I guess
Yes,
I guess 400 billion, right?
And
it's actually 285 billion. See the
yes,
first,
sir. That's the total it's showing.
Okay, so now we've accounted for. Let's call that. Can we call that 300 billion just to make it easy?
Yeah, we can round that up to 500 total between these two.
So with the $600 checks and the $4 billion that everybody's screaming about that's going to the foreign countries, we're at 200 million. You add 300 million that's to PPP that's going to small businesses that really need it. If they're employing their people, if they're keeping their people working. Now we're at 500 billion. So just you and me and this computer and using our brains, we just accounted for 400 of the 900.
500.
500?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Fact checker. We've accounted for 500 billion of the 900 million. So at least you guys know where that's going. There's 400 billion that we don't know about yet. Okay. That you and I haven't yet. We've yet to discover. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I really have no idea where the other 400 billion, but I know that I'm familiar with the PPP. I applied for the PPP last time in March and we got some. We got $40,000. You know, I appreciate that, but that's not very much. A lot of people got up to $10 million. Okay. Now, thank you. I appreciate the fact. And if they'll give me some more, I'm going to take it, because you better take everything you can get from the government. I like what the sales guy said on Tuesday. He said, if the government offers it to you, take it, because they will take it away. Right?
Yes.
All right. So if they offer me some more, I'm going to take it. I'm going to apply to get more, see if they'll give it to me. I don't think they will, because in the second round of the PPP, you have to have had a quarter. You can choose any quarter you want to. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or fourth quarter of 2020. And you have to have a 25% decrease in revenue during that quarter.
Okay.
We haven't had that. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, dealers. This is supposed to be a car dealer show, but these car dealers need to be watching these numbers. Thank you, car dealers. We've had year-over-year increases every single quarter of 2020 as opposed to 2019. So I don't know if you could say the pandemic helped us because it drove everything online, which is what we do, online conversations with customers, with buyers, filling up showrooms, chatting with customers. By the way, dealer, here's the only thing you need to know about this show. You need DigiNinja Chat. It's the most effective chat in the entire world. And I don't care what your business is. If you're selling anything, if you have a product, if you have a business, you have a product or a service, you need DigiNinja Chat, because you need people who know how to talk to people talking to your people. Now I digress. Where were we?
You see, we were talking about the numbers on.
We're talking about the PPP, and we were talking
Yes.
about the fact that our numbers have increased. So if you have a business that and your business has went down, if you have employees, first of all, you can't do it if you don't have employees. If you're a business and your revenue has went down 25% in 2020 in any quarter, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or fourth quarter, which we're in right now. So you can do some creative bookkeeping, some creative accounting, and if you can make your fourth quarter look like you've lost 25% revenue compared to 2019, then you can apply for up to $2 million. Try not to yell right in the microphone over here.
It's okay.
You can apply to receive up to $2 million from the PPP because there's $285 billion available for small businesses. Now, we can't make our numbers look like we've lost 25%. So the company who does a poor job of helping their customers. So let's talk about this. You have other companies out there that have employees, and they were doing well in 2019. We were doing well in 2019 as well. We did over $4 million in revenue in 2019. We'll do over $7 million this year. So we had a dramatic increase in revenue. That's all service. We don't have any products, so that's pretty doggone good, right?
Yes, sir.
But let's talk about the companies that were doing $4 million in 2019, and then they did a poor job in 2020. They weren't able to effectively increase their sales and business. And I don't care what you say, it is their fault. If you're not ready to go digital and you're not up to date with your business model, and your business model is hurt because of the pandemic, that's your fault. You were operating in a broken business model that was propped up by the fact that people could come to your dealership and that people could come to your place of business, when in fact the future is everything's going to be done online. So if you weren't ready and you went from 4 million in revenue to 3 million in revenue, you're going to get rewarded because the government will give you money. But those who increased their business, who stimulated the economy, who paid more taxes, who hired more people, who increased their sales, those people are getting penalized, and they cannot get any money from the government. So you're being punished for doing a good job. How does that make you feel, Smith?
It's hard to put into words. It's an irritation for sure.
It's an irritation. So, yeah. So, by the way, you're definitely not going to think that I'm about to go down this road.
Oh boy.
Okay. You mentioned 2-point-something trillion. I think that number is what has been spent thus far
Through the year.
Makes
sense.
So I think after this, we're going to be over 3 trillion, close to $4 trillion. Do you know? And by the way, who's our president right now?
Donald Trump.
Yep. So do you know that on Donald Trump's watch in 4 years, we have spent more money than all 8 years of Obama?
Whew. No, I didn't know that one.
Donald Trump's he is not helpful when it comes to monetary stability.
Yeah,
he said that the last package wasn't big enough, that we needed 2 trillion.
Jeez.
Now, do you know that the national what are we about 27 trillion in debt right now?
Look it up. That sounds about right.
Go to the national debt clock.
Got it.
Pay attention, guys. You don't want to leave now.
Loading.
It's loading.
There we go. All right. That's a lot of numbers.
The U.S. national debt, 27 trillion, 426 billion, 107 million, 800, 900.
Climbing.
Mhm. So let's see. Let's see how long it takes to run up another $1 million. We'll start at 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I can't see. We'll start over. Okay,
I should have.
no, it's fine. Leave it right there,
Should've
real
left it
quick.
on
I'm
here.
gonna turn my stopwatch on so you don't have to hear me count. Stop. Reset. All right, what's it on right now? Give me a number.
2.
Okay. Let me know when it gets to 2 again.
Yes, sir.
When it gets to 2 again, we will have created another $1 million in national debt. We're at 27 trillion 500 billion as we speak. And let me
Stop.
boom. Takes 22 seconds. Every 22 seconds, we create another $1 million of national debt. Donald Trump spent more in 4 years than Obama did in 8. Did you know that? And yet fiscal conservatives voted for Trump.
Right?
You better give me another reason you voted for him.
Well, it's kind of sad because you heard him talk a lot about this on the campaign trail, but now when he gets these types of questions, he says, essentially it's not a priority right now.
Right.
We'll get to it.
Yep.
That's sad, man.
Yep. That's proof that it's a crisis, because maybe he's right.
Mhm.
By the way, my account has been taken down because I support Trump and openly, say, but by all means, I voted for Trump 100%, because I definitely think it would go the other direction. Anyway, regardless.
Further, anyways.
Yeah,
at the very least.
But it tells you that we have a crisis when the man who campaigned on Obama is spending too much money. Obama is spending too much money. Our debt is soaring. We need to spend less, rein in government spending, shrink the government. It tells you that it's a tremendous crisis when that man actually gets in office. He spends more money than the guy he was criticizing so terribly. Google, how much did the debt increase under Obama? By the way, Obama spent more money. Paul, did you know? Hey, that's kind of like Mary, did you know, since it's Christmas time? Paul, did you know? Paul, did you know that Obama created, or on his watch, while he was served 8 terms, that he created, I keep saying he created it, that under Obama, the national debt and the spending grew more than every other president preceding him combined, from George Washington to George Bush. Fact check me on that. From George Washington, you don't have to.
I'm trying to read through this.
My audience, fact check me. From George Washington and George Bush, we created a tremendous amount of debt. From Obama to Trump, it surpassed all that combined. We created more than all that combined. Okay. And now, Paul, did you know? Trump surpassed those 8 years in 4 years. Okay, so where was the debt when Obama took office?
Okay, right down here. Says Barack Obama added 8.588 trillion. You see 73.6% increase from the 11.65 trillion debt at the end of Bush's last budget. So he started with 11.6.
Okay. So, man, you know what's terribly sad? Nobody knows this. People run around working for money. They run around working for paper money, that these guys are just printing by the trillions, and nobody really knows what this means. What this means is our country's bankrupt. They don't have this money. Do you know how money's created? Using debt.
Okay.
They borrow money. Listen, there's a better video to watch that will explain it, but the money's created out of thin air.
I'm wondering if you've looked at this number. I think the national debt to, I can't remember exactly what they call it, but the national debt ratio to the amount of money we actually have in circulation is now at something like 120%.
Yeah, of the actual cash money.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, because I mean the money, the debt is the money.
Yes.
So let's take PPP for instance. $400 billion,
285, yeah.
$300 billion is loaned to the banks. You know, you had to go to the bank to get this money. The government gave this money to the banks. They then loan it to us. But if they have $1 million in the bank, they can loan $8 million. The money's not there. The money isn't there. If everybody went to get their money, the money's not there. Okay. So it's crazy that people don't understand that we don't have any money. They call the United States the richest country on the planet. I don't know. It's according to what you consider rich.
Right.
If creating fiat currency is rich, then maybe we are. But we're definitely the most in debt. Isn't that true? You can fact check me on that.
Let's find out.
Let's look at that real quick first. But we're going to find out the country with the biggest debt.
Okay, so according to this, at least, it was saying he was at 11.657 and he added 8.5, and it's saying as of the end of fiscal year 2020, Trump has added 6.7 trillion.
So we're at 27 trillion in debt.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so let's just back up 12 years. Stay on that page, please. 12 years ago, Obama took office, correct?
Correct.
And the debt was 12 trillion.
Yes.
What's 27 minus 12?
15?
15 trillion has been added. So in 12 years, we've way more than doubled our national debt. Why on earth would we listen to any politician tell us what is going to stimulate or help the economy when all they have done is more than double our debt in 12 years? Now, where was it when George Bush took office?
When George Bush took office, it was at 5.8 trillion.
Do you remember, Paul, do you remember when your parents would complain about the fact that our national debt was $5 trillion? Boy, those were the good old days. George W. took office and he had less than $6 trillion in debt. Since George Bush took office, we've increased our national debt by $20 trillion.
We've almost 5x'd it.
We've almost 5x'd it. How much? What about old Bill? What old Bill do?
Bill Clinton actually started with 4.4 trillion.
So I tell you what, man, people want to talk about George W. He did a pretty good job. He only increased it.
He added 5.8.
He added 5.8.
Wait.
I did miss it too. He took it to 11 trillion. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And it's not showing it like that, but that's what he did. He took it from 5.8 trillion to 11 trillion. So he 1x'd it. He 1x'd it. Wow.
Okay, it doesn't show that number until you get up there.
You know what? Percentage wise, he might have been the worst offender.
Yeah, he
doubled it.
Pretty much. Right at.
George W. doubled it. So if you look at it percentage wise, that's pretty bad. What did Obama do though? Go back to Obama.
Obama added 8.5.
So he didn't even one exit.
No.
And Trump hasn't one exit. How much did Trump add?
Added 6.7.
Wow. Those numbers are so big that you can't tell who's the worst offender.
Yeah, it's confusing. Obviously, this layout is not the easiest to read.
But do you agree? We just looked at that George W. did the worst by percentages. He won. He 100%.
Doubled it. Believe you're correct.
That's pretty crazy. Okay, so look up and see who the country biggest debt.
No, not Gmail.
Don't be showing your Gmail to everybody.
I've got to set this thing to
Ken
where
Walls sent you an email right there. By the
it
way.
goes to Google. I mean, it goes to Gmail even when I type in Google. I've got to get that to stop. Okay, so immediately Google says United States and debt to GDP. That's what I was trying to think of. This is saying 104%, but that's obviously like the total number. The percentages, on the other hand,
Yeah, the total numbers. I mean, the United States has the most debt, but
Japan appears to have the highest debt to GDP ratio, 237%.
I tell you what,
I did not know.
I want to visualize the trillion of there's 63 trillion of world debt. Click on that.
Okay.
A world of debt, percentage of world debt. Whoa.
Yeah, we got to zoom out for this bad boy. Jeez.
So 31%. Japan is number 2. Japan is following in our footsteps. And then the country with the most people, well, at least tied with India, China, who's the number 2 economy, the number 2 largest economy, they've managed to grow to the number 2 economy behind the United States, but yet stay behind Japan. It looks like they have about a third of the debt we have.
Right. Russia's down here with 0.2%. That's hard to believe.
Russia, they don't finance it, they just take it. They want it, they take it. By the way, they have a large stockpile of gold as well. Okay, did you know? All right, let's go back to something interesting. Okay, did you know in 1942? Have we talked about this on the show yet? This is important. You will appreciate this. In 1942, the average car cost around $900, and you could buy that car with 23 ounces of gold. Okay. Today's car, the average car costs $37,000. It's a big number, isn't it? But do you know if you still had those 23 ounces of gold that you could buy that car in 1942 with? Let's say in 1942 you had 23 ounces of gold. You could take that gold and buy a car for $900, all 23 ounces. If you still had that 23 ounces of gold, you could buy a car today with that and have 3 ounces left over. So today's, judging by gold, the value of gold, cars are cheaper today.
Oh, wow.
You can buy a car today with 20 ounces of gold. 20 ounces of gold is worth about $37,000. In 1942, 23 ounces of gold was worth about $900. The cost of a new car at that time. So cars are cheaper. But it took the average American would have to work 20 weeks to earn enough money to buy that car in 1942. Today, the average American would have to work 40 weeks. So you have to work twice as long for less money, for less buying power. 98% of the dollar, the American dollar's buying power has been eroded. We're left with 2% of the buying power we once had.
That's insane.
I know. People don't know it, though. They just don't know it. So let's say you have $10,000 in gold right here. That would be about 5 ounces of gold.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have exactly $10,000 right here. $10,000 in gold value, $10,000 in cash. In 10 years, you can rest assured that that gold is going to be worth a whole lot more money. And that if you still have that $10,000 sitting there, it's going to have, the buying power is going to be way less. Yet people stack cash. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And it's not really that smart. At least I feel like I've at least enlightened you today, Smith.
Yeah, no doubt. I've definitely learned some new stuff.
So anyway, so here's what you can do to combat that. You need to increase your cash flow. You need to sell more cars. You need to sell more product. You need to go online. And if you have a business, you need to be driving people to your website and taking their money. How do you do that? Have meaningful conversations with them. Use chat. Use text. You need to be texting every one of your customers. You need to be chatting with every one of your customers. And you need to be transacting with these people online so you can increase your cash flow and then buy something that's real. Gold is real. Silver is real. Real estate is real. This is real. These computers are real. The building behind me. So all that increase in revenue that we had from 2019 to 2020, they paid me in cash. I invested in real estate. I invested in real things. I invested in people and invested in a plane.
Yes, sir.
Do you know that the value of used planes are going up?
I did not.
You buy a car. If you buy a car, for instance, we just bought one to reduce our taxes. And because we have a business vehicle, we just bought a 2021 Yukon Denali from a dealer that does business with us every single week. You know what the price tag is on that Denali?
I don't know, 50K maybe?
90,000.
90. Whew.
So do you know what that vehicle is going to be worth in 2 years?
75, 80?
60.
60.
Yeah.
Jeez.
60,000. It depreciates, but we get to depreciate the entire amount, the 90,000 in 1 year. So it'll look like we have spent 90,000 and then that will be depreciated. That means that comes off of, we get the tax benefit of it depreciating. So it sucks, but that's cars depreciate. Do you know that you can buy a $200,000 plane? It may be a 1980 Baron twin engine plane, excellent flying condition. Spend $200,000 on it. You know what it's going to be worth in 2 years?
250?
Possibly. It's going to be worth at least what you paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to depreciate it too. So what's the smarter purchase? An airplane that you can travel the country and see your dealers in, or a work vehicle that you can take 5 times as long to travel with?
Easily the airplane.
Airplane. You get ready to sell it, you get your money back.
If it's going to be worth more and you're going to get the tax as well.
You get to keep it. You spend the paper dollars. They're decreasing in value. Okay. If you've been thinking about buying aircraft, do it. It's tax deductible. You take paper dollars that we've already proven on this show that aren't real. We haven't read the comments, but Smith, will you agree with me that the value of the dollar is going down and that we keep creating more and more debt, and that's only going to hurt the value of the dollar?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we've proven that, at least to as far as you and I are concerned. You take those depreciating dollars, which are a sign of debt, and you give them to someone else to do whatever they want to do with it, and you get an airplane. That airplane creates you money, creates time for you, and it appreciates. It goes up in value. Pretty smart, huh?
Definitely.
Definitely. Or you could take that cash and stick it in the bank and just let it sit there. Or, so okay, now let's say you get another $200,000 and you could put it in the bank and let it sit there. Or you could buy an office building with those dollars, give those dollars to whoever owns the office building, and now you own the office building. What does real estate tend to do over time?
I'm not really sure on that one.
Okay, so what do you think the average house cost in 1940? Google it real quick.
Google it. Got it.
I'll go ahead and tell you, and most people know this, but home real estate appreciates as well. But
What year did you say?
1942 is what we're doing with the car.
Yes, sir. American house in 1942 on average cost $3,775.
So, can you put that on the screen as well?
Yes.
Because I want to prove to people who thinks that maybe I'm just throwing numbers around. What does it say the new car costs right there?
$920.
And straight out of the air, how much did I say a car cost in 1942?
I believe you said 900.
I said 900. I was off by $20. Okay.
Probably a big deal back then.
So the typical American house in 1942 cost $3,700. Google 2020. You can just do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got you. 320,000.
What was the last one? 3,000.
3,775.
So that's 100x, right? That's 100x. Yep.
Yes, sure is.
So in 1942, homes have 100x. So if your grandparents purchased a house in 1942 for $3,000, and I don't know how much money they had to spend on it over the years, but they would have 100x'd their investment. You know, average house and it's up to date, those type of things.
Yeah.
So now, since you've read that, Smith, do you think that the houses that we're living in today will be worth more money or less money 10 years from now?
I'd say more money, maybe less value.
No,
Don't think so.
No. So no, they're real. So less value. I'm trying to think what you mean by that. Maybe because they depreciated.
Yes.
Okay, so there may be need to update and upkeep, but if just take this office building, okay,
Sir?
10 years from now, you think it'd be worth more money or less money?
More money.
More money. Okay, and it should have the same value. Now there may be expenses, roof upkeep, things like that, but guess what? Guess what? Those are in relation to the IRS and taxes.
Tax write-offs.
Yeah. And let's don't call them a tax write-off. That's what a lot. I don't mean this. This is an educational show. That's what a lot of people who don't understand taxes call it. It's
like me.
Okay, so I wasn't trying to be derogatory as well.
No, you're fine.
This is what people who don't know say. It's not a tax write-off. You don't write it off. It's a tax deduction.
Okay.
So the new roof that we just put on this building, and the new windows that we just put in, and the new paint, and all the new upgrades that we made are a tax deduction. So let's say that, to keep it simple, to use simple terms, let's say that our profit for the year was $100,000. Okay. Or I'll tell you what, let's say that, let's use the number $1 million. I'm going to tell you this is very important right here. If you're in business, you need to understand this. First of all, so many people try to avoid taxes by not showing a profit. You ever heard of people doing that?
Yes.
That's what rookies do. Okay. You definitely don't want to do that. You want to show a profit. You want to reduce your income, though. You want to reduce your income, which reduces your taxes. So let's say your business profited $1 million. You're now in a 42% tax bracket. That means that if you make another $1 million,
They're going to get 420,000 of it.
that's correct. That's correct. So, and that actually starts at around 650,000. So once you make 600, when you cross like 650,000, you can fact check me. It's going to be more than 600, less than 700. Okay. So yeah, there you go. What's the top tax bracket?
Incomes greater than, okay, it says, oh, this is from 2019. Let's see.
That's fine. That's when it'll be.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We've yet to pay taxes in 2020. We do that on April the 15th.
True.
Actually, we're probably going to do it on September the 1st again because of the pandemic.
Okay. According to this one, it's saying single taxpayers,
518,000.
and married couples filing jointly, 622,000.
So I was pretty close again.
Yes.
650,000 was my guess. I said it would be greater than 600,000, less than 700. So when you cross $622,000, you now are entering the 42% tax bracket. So if you make $600,000, it's going to be certain amounts going to be taxed at zero, like up to 15,000. A certain amount, maybe 15% or 20%, and then that when you cross 622,000 as a married couple, you cross over into the big dogs club. Now you're paying 42% tax. So if you I think the first that first 622,000, you're going to be taxed around $125,000, something like that, total money. So that's a guesstimation, but it's close. It's more than 100,000, less than 200,000. Okay, but now the next $1 million you make, or the next dollar you make, is taxed at 42%. So if you make $1.6 million, the first 600,000 is going to be about $125,000 you pay in taxes, and then the second the next million you make, you're going to pay $420,000 to the federal government. Some people say it's fair, whatever. So, but there's this thing called the tax code, which is thousands of pages as well. Do you know what the tax code is?
Very little.
The tax code is the rule book on how to avoid taxes. People think that the tax code is written to collect taxes. The tax code is written to show you how to avoid taxes. They say things like, if you put a new roof on your business, you get to reduce that from your income. So if you made $1 million, but your roof cost $100,000, now your income shows up as 990. I'm sorry. What did I say? 1 million and you pay 100,000, 990,000. No, 900,000.
900. Yeah.
900,000. So let's say you're at 1.6 million and you buy an airplane for business for 200,000 or 1.4 million. And this is where it gets tricky. In real estate, like the office building, you can't depreciate that in 1 year. It's because it doesn't depreciate so fast. So you actually have to break that down at maybe like 30 years or something like that. But certain things that you do, you can depreciate all at one time. So you have to find the things that you can spend the money on, like computer systems that you can definitely depreciate them a lot faster. So the key is, and then you buy a $100,000 vehicle that you can depreciate in 1 year. Now you're down to 800,000. I'm sorry, 700,000. Everything that you spend that's a tax deduction comes off of your income. So you're basically buying it at a 42% discount. Some people think that it's dollar for dollar. It's not. It just reduces your income.
Right.
For instance, there was some complaints about the tax bill. I'm sorry, the stimulus bill makes it where you can write off, terrible word, so you can get a tax deduction for your business meals again. Because in 2019 you couldn't do that. But in this stimulus bill, they're saying that you can once again do that. Okay. People were complaining about that. So here's what people were complaining about, Smith. If I take you and Paul down to the local restaurant so we can have a business meeting and we strategize, and the bill's $100 under the new stimulus package. This is the only thing I like about the entire stimulus package is the business meal deduction. I get to pay that restaurant $100 and I get to take that off of my income. So the restaurant benefits, our business benefits, we're able to tip more because we don't have to pay tax on it. Whereas, so basically that $100 bill at the restaurant only costs us $62. That's better.
Definitely.
It's better for the restaurant. It's better for you. It's better for me. Better for Paul. Better for everybody involved. But there's some complaint about it. So most people who complain about taxes and the tax breaks don't understand taxes. And most of the people who are complaining are definitely not business people. They just know that they're getting a $600 check. They're mad about that, which we figured out that $600 check is actually $194 billion, right?
Yes, sir.
It's been a long show.
Got it right there.
So there it is. It's been a long show. We talked a lot about taxes today. We talked a lot about money. Have we had any comments? Have we had any complaints? Do we have anybody prove me wrong in the comments?
We do have an angry emoji from somebody. Well, I mean, we shouldn't say.
Yeah, let's say, who was it?
It is Sir Joseph Osteen.
Joseph, maybe he was mad about all that money we were spending in foreign lands.
Perhaps so. Just thought it was funny. Let's see. We got the usual greetings from Joey, Robert. Carson Henry says, about to get some knowledge.
Carson, did you hang around for the entire show? And what did you think about the knowledge that we did drop on here today? Do you think a little bit differently about the stimulus package now? Do you think a little bit differently about the national debt? Do you think a little bit differently about the value of cash, the value of gold, the value of real estate? Did you learn anything about taxes?
I did skip over. Robert says the omnibus bill, plenty of room to sneak in almost anything.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, so we finally accounted for $500 billion, didn't we?
Yes.
So Robert, to your point, there's room to sneak in $400 billion more. What did they spend the other $400 billion on, Paul?
These things always remind me of those old reports about missing money in the budgets. Mm-hmm. People always can.
Do you remember when the Obama administration sent $1 billion in cash to Iran?
Vaguely.
Google it real quick, and then we'll come back to the comments. So
right.
Cash payment, Obama cash payment to Iran.
$400 million. It's in this one, anyways.
400 million. Okay.
Let's see. Oh, well,
March 18th. What does it say?
March 1st of 2018 says 1.7 million.
The bundle was in cash deal with Iran prohibited by U.S. Oh, was it? So 1.7 billion.
Okay.
1.7 billion in cash given to Iran. Now, that was probably pretty dumb. I just can't imagine that being a good idea. You know, maybe it prevented some terrible tragedy that only the president was privy to. So they said, you know what? Let's stop this tragedy by giving Iran, who hates us, who wants to destroy America, $1.7 billion. But you know why the main reason they were willing to do it? Because the presidents, and you know why? I mean, the reason they're willing to give all the money away because they know it's useless. It's very
useless.
I hate to say useless, yeah, but
I can tell you,
I almost did, but because I mean, it's very useful. It's it's very useful, but they knew it was worth very little. Let me say that they understand that 1.4 billion is not very much money. You know, the only thing that gives the value of the dollar any value, I mean, that actually gives it value.
I'd say at the end of the day, confidence at this point.
That's an excellent answer. Our faith in the dollar and it having value is the only thing that actually makes that value real.
Our willingness to work for it. It's probably it's just as important.
Our willingness to accept it, actually.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, I mean, you're working for a dollar that we just talked about today. We've given the dollar a hard time today.
Yes.
But your willingness to work for that dollar, because right now that's about the only thing people accept for payment.
True. On everything across the board, anyways.
Yep. Oil. You can buy oil.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy the Iraqi dinar, probably. You can find it. You can buy gold. You can buy all these things you can buy with dollars. I don't think you can buy very many things with the old Bitcoin, can you?
I don't believe so. I mean, the impression I've gotten is that people are starting to accept it, but you also see, I can't remember what this one's called, but isn't the government trying to institute their own or either start running in
Digital currency?
Yes.
They basically have it in the dollar. I mean, the dollar's digital.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I know I've seen some bills they've started working on trying to constrain it, if nothing else.
There's a lot of people who want to go to a cashless society.
Yes.
Cashless currency. One bank, the World Bank.
Ooh.
We're probably going to get banned forever for talking about this.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep. Maybe if we throw in something ridiculous enough, like
So the World Bank, they want one World Bank, a digital currency, and everybody gets paid in that digital currency. There's no need for cash. Everything you pay for will be paid for digitally, like PayPal, like Cash App, like Venmo, but controlled by one bank. And then all they have to do is put a chip in you.
Well, I mean, I don't think you even have to get that crazy. It's sad. You know, we approached the Bitcoin and all these things at the beginning because we wanted some lack of centralization. We wanted people not tampering with the value. And I mean, if it ends up even close to what you're saying, we're approaching a system where you can't just go to the alternative when MasterCard says, you know, you're not approved for our money. There's going to be no choices if we end up there.
Absolutely. And Bitcoin is going to be useless.
True.
So I just pissed off a bunch of Bitcoin bugs. Joey Arvison's throwing hammers at his computer screen right now.
We get back to the comments?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Can't remember exactly what he was estimating. He said I was low on my original estimate of $2 billion.
What he's talking about there is he thinks the value of DigiNinja's $2 billion.
Oh, yes.
$2 billion. We've actually been approached by a company, some venture capitalists in California wanting to buy equity in DigiNinja.
Okay.
And I priced it to them. Joey's going to be mad for what I priced it to him for. But I said, you know, we're over 7 million in revenue. Round that up to 10, because our sister company is doing another 4 million. So we're a $10 million per year revenue company. 10x that, $100 million. I said, I'll sell you 1% for 1 million. They didn't say no, but they're looking at, I mean, that's the only thing I would consider. But Joey says it's worth $2 billion if we hold out. And my family is mixed about it. They don't want me to give it away, you know, to take 50 million. Anybody who doesn't really want to own DigiNinja doesn't need to offer me over 50 million. I would probably trade. I'd probably make that trade. I'm going to hold out for 100 million, 100 million or 1% for 1 million. Because here's what happens when somebody gives you $1 million. Now they own 1%. It doesn't matter if they own 1% or 50%. Now, everything you do, you're responsible to that shareholder.
Right.
You know who I'm responsible to right now?
Billy.
And my customers.
Employees.
Yeah, my employees and customers. I'm responsible to my employees to make sure they're getting great value, getting a return on their investment in our company. Which, by the
So-
way, the best way you can invest in this company is investing in your company by getting our chat set up on your website so that my people are talking to your customers. They're going to make they're going to have meaningful conversations with your customers. It's going to lead to your customers walking in your shop or either coming online, doing business with you to generate more revenue, more profit for you. DigiNinja Chat is the future of this company. Facebook events, take them or leave them. If you want a Facebook event, we'll do you a Facebook event, but you really need to be using our chat because chat's more powerful and it's going to be more and more and more and more powerful in the future. Any more comments?
Caleb says, sorry, I wasn't planning for today. Had the family all over. Catch y'all next week.
It's all good, Caleb. We'll be back next week for Caleb when he's going to be dropping some knowledge on us. We'll get him involved in some of these talks about money and taxes. He has some very interesting theories as well.
Looking forward to it. Abby Povenmeyer. Tell me how to pronounce her last name, please.
Pavenmeyer?
Povenmeyer. Okay. Says,
Or it could be Pavenmeyer. I think that's more German.
Okay.
I wonder if Pavenmeyer is a German name. Pavenmeyer. That kind of sounds Polish.
Yeah, when you say it like that.
Pavenmeyer. And then Pavenmeyer or Pavenmeyer. I'm not sure. Merry Christmas, Abby,
Yes.
all the way out in Kansas City.
Merry Christmas. Maria Jose also says Merry Christmas.
That sounds kind of German as well. Maria Jose.
Because I could always agree.
You thinking more Spanish?
Yeah. Clint Winters says unsustainable spending.
Unsustainable spending. I don't know, Clint. I think it's pretty sustainable. All they have to do is keep printing it.
Well, that's what Alexandria
Yeah, I think,
Cortez says.
yeah. I mean, you just keep printing it. So check this out. Go ahead. No, please.
Oh boy, this could just take a while. I was gonna say, the only thing that has sort of turned me on this opinion a little bit is actually looking at, well, all of the things that we buy now, especially as crazy as it sounds, mobile gaming.
Mhm.
People will pay a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, maybe $100 for a pack, to get that hit of dopamine, have a good time for a little while.
Yeah.
You can generate money with nothing now, zeros and ones. So I mean that's the only argument I can think of, and it is pretty interesting to say that we could just continue blowing it up because we're buying things, we're selling things that don't exist all the time.
It's all zeros and ones.
I guess so.
It's all zeros and ones. All of it.
Okay.
If you get to the molecular level of our physical compositions, it's zeros and ones. Anyway, I hear you, but so they're just going to keep printing it. It's the spending's not unsustainable. I know what he means. What he means is going to end in disaster.
Right.
It's going to end in the collapse of the dollar, and those with the real estate, and those with the gold, and those with the silver, those with the hard assets, they'll continue to increase their net worth. And those sitting there holding cash in the bank, smashed like an ant.
Smash like you need to smash that like button.
Absolutely. Like it. Any more comments?
More greetings.
Greetings.
Penella Lisi says, oh, I can't pronounce that. That's for sure. I apologize.
It's probably in Germany.
Thanks for the comments.
I'm thinking about moving to Chile.
Don't sound too bad.
I don't know. I like the amenities of living in a place where you can be in Jacksonville, Florida, Atlanta pretty quickly, even though more and more I care not if I go back to places like Atlanta.
Okay.
But places like Jacksonville, coastal cities that have access to technology, high-speed internet.
Yes.
That's hard to get away from.
Yeah, it really is.
Maybe Costa Rica would be a better choice.
It's hard to go back at this point.
Costa Rica. Costa Rica is the size of West Virginia.
Hmm.
Did you know that?
I did not.
It's bordered by Panama on one end and Nicaragua on the other. Got the Caribbean Sea to the east, the Pacific to the west.
Sounds beautiful.
It does, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
But so many Americans go there, the prices there are pretty inflated. Chile, on the other hand, very reasonably priced. Go down there, you start a blueberry farm,
Yeah.
buy some timber tracks, put your own runway in.
Right. No, that
Yeah.
sounds.
And then you need a plane that's a little faster than the DigiNinja Express. The DigiNinja Express, 220 miles per hour. So Google what's the distance between Douglas, Georgia? I don't know if it may and down in Chile. Let's say Chile. See if may have to go to Google again or go to Google. Remember how we measured it last time? Oh, look, man, it told us. There you go.
4,697 miles.
So we definitely have to have something faster than the DigiNinja Express because that would take probably, let's see, 40.
So you would have to divide that by 220?
Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. You already got it. Let's see. What was 46.97?
Yes, sir.
Divided by 220.
Mm-hmm.
It would take 21 hours on the DigiNinja Express.
Ooh, that's a whole day.
So you got to have a jet. You need a Gulfstream or something that because you want to be able to get back in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have you need something that flies 600 plus miles per hour. What was the distance again?
4,697.
Divided by 650. Still, it would take 7 hours in a Gulfstream.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
I guess that's when you start taking naps or doing something. Like
St.
do something
Bart's.
productive.
How
up
about
there.
Douglas to St. Bart's?
Douglas to St. Bart's.
Amazed at it. St. Bart's Island. St. Bart's.
Oh, okay.
It's spelled Bart's is spelled. That's fine. You figured it out for you. 1563 divided by 220. So I could fly there in 7 hours. But and see I probably need to move to St. Bart's because you can stop along the way. Stop in the Bahamas, then you fly on down. Stop in Puerto Rico, then you fly on down. That's the way.
For sure.
Be connected those with your digital dollars and your gold. See if you have gold. If you have gold in its physical form sitting in a vault owned by that you have access to through the actual company that sold you the gold, then you can travel the world, have buying power. You can transfer that, you can turn that gold into dollars or pesos or whatever you want to turn it into on your app, spend it and retain your buying power. And it beats toting around cash.
Yes.
Right? If you just have your cash sitting in a bank, then your cash value is dropping every day.
Mm-hmm. And you've got all sorts of conversions to mess with.
Yeah. So you want a big deposit of gold in certain companies that operate in multiple countries around the world where you can sell that gold, basically turn it into dollars. The company does that for you and you spend the dollars, but you retain the rest in gold. You're going to see me on the beach with a big beard, shaved head.
I'm waiting for it.
Let's see if we have any more comments.
Sure, it's going to take me off guard. See Robert Brookers telling Panella good morning. He says, I like to talk about numbers.
How would you rate our talk on numbers today, Robert? On a scale from 1 to 10, how did the Christmas edition of the Billy Merritt show go?
Clint Winter says, great show today, Billy.
I don't know why I got on that. I've been thinking about it a lot lately. And, it's felt like going in that direction. I think we learned a few things.
Oh, absolutely. It's valuable info. Robert Brooker says, Faith is the evidence of things unseen. A mustard seed amount of faith can move a mountain.
Absolutely. And that's biblical. He's talking about the faith we have to have in money. Think about
Yes.
how powerful that faith is. Everybody's bought into it. Everybody around the world is bought into the faith in the US dollar. I wonder how long that'll last.
Faith holds a lot of things together. I mean, that's.
Go ahead. What's another comment?
Clint Winters says, "What about cryptocurrency value versus cash?"
Stay away from it. Cryptocurrencies, you can't fight the Fed. You can't fight the governments. If the government's, unless the government buys all the crypto, then the crypto is going to end in a bust. It's a big old bubble.
I imagine it either, like I said, they're going to have their own, or they're going to have all sorts of regulations before you know it.
Nobody's using it as a currency. They're using it as, so they've managed, the people who are pumping up the cryptos, they've managed to get people to buy into the fact that it's a store of value. It's not a store of value. The blockchain technology is pretty important. It's pretty cool. And I mean, man, I got a bunch of people mad at me for saying what I'm saying right now. But the people who own, okay, so like the market cap of Bitcoin is $500 billion, something like that. Google it. Let's see. I'm within 200 billion.
I don't know why I finished typing it. It was right there. About $350 billion.
So 350 billion. All right. So here's what that means. There's some big players that own. We know how small 350 billion is now after we looked at those. That's less than $500 billion.
Indeed.
Okay. So there's some big key players who own a huge percentage of that. Okay. And that means, let's say they own half of it. So and let's call it 400 billion. So they own 200 billion of that cap. When it 10Xs, which it very well may do, it could go from 25,000 to 250,000. That means that man who owns 200 billion has now got
2 trillion, right?
Yeah, no.
No, wait. You said
if it 10Xs, I just had a zero. He got 200 billion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 200 billion times 10. That's 2 trillion, right?
Be the first trillionaire. So nobody has 200 billion. A group of individuals could. The richest man on the planet's got 100. And how much is Jeff Bezos worth?
Let's find out.
And it could be very well that someone like Bezos, 187 billion.
Yes, sir.
So let's just say that some mystery man has 200 billion of crypto, because that's possible that there's somebody under the radar that has so much, because nobody knows who owns the Bitcoin, right? There's mystery people who own it. So let's say there is a Bezos out there who owns 200 million. He's actually richer. If it 10X, he's the first trillionaire by 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the first trillionaire is going to cash out. You can't spend that Bitcoin. So he's going to cash out and he's going to sell. And that's going to cause the price to, then everybody's going to start selling. The people who bought in last are going to be caught holding the bag. Now, if you want to speculate that it's going to 10X, then there, by all means, speculate. But it's not an investment. It is a gamble. It's a speculation. However, had you speculated 12 months ago,
be one happy camper.
You would have done very well. You would have definitely done better than the people who bought gold a year ago. People who bought gold didn't do bad, but they didn't do nearly as well as people who bought Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
But that, my friend Clint, is unsustainable, according to Billy.
Robert Brooker says, if the government gets a digital currency, it will give total control of the velocity of money to them and full details of where your money goes.
Yep. Right now, the only thing they use to control your money is, I'll go ahead and tell you because very few people would guess it, but is the tax code.
Okay.
So the government controls what we do with our money based on the tax code, because the biggest spenders are the businesses of the country, and the biggest businesses of the country, Amazon, pays 0 tax.
Mm-hmm.
they follow the tax code. So right now they can only, Robert, now they can only use the tax code to control us. If it goes, like he says, digital, currency goes digital, then they can control us with our actual bank accounts.
Joey Arvidsson's just agreeing. Correct, Robert. Full control. Chad Walker Gay says, Merry Christmas. Hope y'all have a great and safe holiday.
What are you doing for the holidays, Smith?
I mean, I'll probably spend a little time with family, but other than that, same as usual. I'll work on a bit of music, make a little progress on the commissions, and probably spend a little bit of time gaming, watching TV.
I'm going to go to Jamaica.
Sounds awesome, man.
Taking the family, taking +9, Billy +9 to Jamaica.
Awesome.
We'll let you know how that goes.
Sounds like sounds like more than I can handle.
Well, we didn't anticipate things being like they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
We may not have went either, but we're going.
Robert Brooker says Gulf streams are pretty sweet.
They're very sweet. Yes, they are.
And he said today it's a 10.
Well, thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. I'm glad, man. We're at an hour and this is the longest show I've ever done alone, you and me.
Yes, sir. Robert Brooker, getting people thinking in areas they don't usually is a good thing.
They need to be thinking about these things. You better think about them. It's almost an hour and a half show, Paul.
We could do it.
Let's set a record.
Clint Winters says, I have never bought any of crypto. Seemed like video game coins to me.
So they are exactly like video game coins because the people who created the video games make that money. By the way, I have to have a dog sitter for the weekend, and I think Felipe is going to help out in there, as well as KC, Smith. Are
you heard it here first?
When you get on JJ's schedule, we got to have a checklist.
I love JJ.
Way,
I don't know.
Hold on 1 second. Don't go anywhere. Do not leave.
There he goes. And it is raining outside, so he's running. Oh boy, there he comes.
Get it. All right. JJ, can you speak? Can you speak?
Oh my goodness. Hey, buddy.
That was pretty good. Parting words by JJ there.
Indeed.
So we will have we have an attack dog, JJ there. He will be guarding the house as well as the armed guards and we have a very elaborate
security system,
camera system. We can read your pupils. We can read pupil dilation. That's how intense the cameras are. We have hidden cameras.
They look discreet.
We have decoy cameras, and we can watch all those. And the armed guards are real. So just letting you know. And by the way, Felipe is probably going to be spending the night there.
Awesome.
With the Scar Heavy loaded. It's going to have people on rotation watching JJ, watching the front door, watching all the different vantage points.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything. It's been a fun show.
Absolutely.
I had fun, guys. Merry Christmas. Have a great holidays. I don't care who you are. If you're in business, you need DigiNinja Chat. DigiNinja Chat will make your life better. It will increase your income. It will increase your sales. It will increase your overall wellness and happiness. It'll make you a healthier, happier, better human. DigiNinja Chat. Chat's where it's at. See you guys in about a week.